Okay, welcome back to my Learn to Code stream. Today I'm going to return to Learn Python. I sidestep a little bit in the sense that I've been watching some of the videos off stream. For example, the other day, let me go back. There we go. Okay, here we go. Well, first, let me see if there are some... I think I just did this. Did I did this before? Yes, I think I did. Okay, there we go. The system is updated. I've been... Okay, thank you, Twitter. Whoa, what was that? Okay, never mind. Been watching YouTube. I've been browsing through the LinkedIn Learning stuff because I was looking for a refactoring course that I watched years ago in 2013, I believe, or 2015. I don't remember really. Refactoring code. I believe this was a course that was on lynda.com before LinkedIn bought lynda.com years ago. But I haven't found that specific course. Yeah, this is the author, but the refactoring one, I haven't found it yet. Well, I got it on... There we go, refactoring code. But I believe most of these courses are already outdated and no longer available. So yeah. So, but if I found a backup when I used to record those videos, so refactoring code. So I found the course here. So I didn't lost it, thankfully. I am on this chapter over here, but I'm going to watch that any other day. Today, oh yeah, I am seeing that Amazon has great discounts for the Shure SM7B. This is the best microphone out there, and I was thinking about buying this and maybe the Cloud Lifter alternative here. But now, considering that I no longer have a job, I am unemployed right now, so I'm not too sure to spend money on that, especially when I already have good enough gear to continue doing my stuff. So yeah, decisions, you know. Anyway, let me see. Let's find... There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's watch this one.
Surprised to see you there. So we just finished an entire section on Python. We learned the Python language. We learned the syntax, and we can write Python now. That's awesome. But here's the thing. Do you feel ready for the real world? Do you know what to do with this newfound skill? You see, when you're first learning a language, a really hard jump is to learn the syntax and the rules of the language, and then understanding how you can use that in the real world to make your life better, to improve a product, to create value for a company that you work for. And a lot of developers have this crossroads that they encounter once they learn their first language, and that is, what now? What projects do I build? How is
That's
this,
what I am
where
at.
can I use Python? If you've gotten this far in the course, this slide should make sense to you by now. Because if I ask you the question, where can you write Python code and have it work? The answer should be pretty obvious, right? Because if we have a Python file or multiple files, that is modules, and we have a Python interpreter or a compiler, then by having these two things, we can run them anywhere that has a machine, that has a computer. We can run it on our own computers, our own laptops, like we have been throughout the course. We can even run Python code on mobile. Again, as long as we have an interpreter and some Python scripts, we can run those on mobile. And if you Google running Python on mobile, you'll see just how to do that. You can run Python on servers, and servers at the end of the day are just computers. So any computer, any machine that understands ones and zeros is able to run Python code as long as we have these two pieces. And this is where the power comes in. The power is that we now are able to use Python to do the tasks that as humans, maybe we're not as good as machines. That is automating things, doing things that are really repetitive, doing them really fast. That's why machines are so powerful. Maybe they're not as creative as humans. Maybe they can't speak or write fictional novels. But what they're really, really good at are calculations, simple tasks that they can do thousands, millions, billions of times in a matter of seconds, something that humans can't do. And we use Python to help us as humans to be more productive, to create things so that our machines run our Python code and make our lives easier. And throughout the next couple of sections, we're going to try and answer that for you. That is, we're going to show you where you can apply Python, whether it is to your day-to-day life, whether it is to work for a company, or maybe you want to create your own startup. We're going to show you how you can apply the knowledge that you've just gained into different projects, your own personal projects, for example. Because this is where Python shines. Python is one of the most popular programming languages because it can be applied to lots of things. How many things? Well, we can do web development. We can do image processing. We can send emails with Python. We can even send texts with Python. We can do machine learning with Python. We can create our own Twitter bots. We can do data visualization and data analysis. We can do something called data scraping. We can just do any general scripting with Python. We can do automation, and we can process files like PDFs, Excel files, and many others. And we're actually going to show you and build projects around all of these topics in the upcoming sections. I know, very exciting, seems kind of overwhelming. But the goal is, now that we have the foundation of Python, I want to show you where we can apply the skill so that by the end, we have all the tools necessary for you to dominate the world as a Python programmer and have this tool that you can utilize in anything that you want. It's a bold statement, but it's very exciting, and I think you're going to really like these next sections. Let's get started.
Okay, so that was the end of that chapter. As I said before, this chapter was basically an overview of what's next to come, in the sense that, well, we already learned the language itself, how to work with classes, how to work with functional programming, how to do structured programming, inheritance. A subject that we didn't manage too much was the thing with wait a minute. My left side monitor looks a little weird. Just give me a moment. Yeah, it looks weird. What? Yeah, that's weird. Okay, looks like I'm getting some issues with my monitor. And there we go. I hope that's not going to affect my... Oh wait, I think it is. Yeah, something wrong here. There we go. What? I need to check that. Okay, looks like I got a technical issue here, but seems like it's okay now. Okay. Let me see what happened. Oh. Okay, never mind. Okay, looks like it's fine now, I think. Well, not really. Technical issues. Well, the show is live, so it makes sense, I guess. And we're getting technical issues here. Okay. Okay, looks like it's fine now. Never mind. Now, what is the Pomodoro clock? And there we go. Okay, let's start the clock. There we go. Okay, looks like everything is in order now. Okay, skip. So what we are going to be watching now is the next section. Section 16 was not a programming section. This was basically just an overview of things to come, and this is the division between learning to code in Python and learning to make stuff with Python, basically. So building projects is what's coming next. Testing in Python. There we go. So here is the next chapter to watch. And I already tried to access the Twitter development. The Twitter developer page, but now I believe it's I just can't sign up. Never mind. Okay, so this project is going to be on hold, the Twitter API thing, but I'm going to be working on the rest of the projects. So let's check them out.
Let's talk about scripting. But what do I really mean by scripting? This is just a general term to say that, well, we're writing scripts using Python to do something for us, to use the power of the machines to help us be more productive, more efficient. So this section is all about making our lives easier, understanding what the power of Python is, what we've learned up until now, and how we can use it to make our lives easier. We're going to learn about processing images really efficiently. We're going to learn about working with files like PDFs. We're going to learn how to send emails with Python, even text messages. We're going to build a Twitter bot. We're also going to build projects along the way to show you all the cool things we can do with Python. My favorite project that we're going to build is a super secure password checker to see if our passwords have ever been hacked. It's a really, really neat project. But the idea here is that with Python, using all these libraries and modules that have been built by the Python community, we can do so much. So it's going to be a really exciting section, and it's going to open up a whole world of possibilities. I'm only going to scratch the surface, but I guarantee you, by the end of it, you're going to be really, really excited and truly understand the power of Python. Let's get started.
I'm having issues with my main monitor now. What's going on? Okay,
let's talk about image processing. This is something that happens a lot, and a lot of companies process images or videos. What do I mean? Well, Instagram here, for example, you may have used this service. What you do is you upload your pictures and Instagram displays it to all your friends. But if I click on one of these pictures here, this image isn't actually the image that I uploaded to Instagram, because the image that I uploaded to Instagram was very large. It was probably around 5 megabytes. What Instagram does is it processes this image. Maybe it adds some cool filters for me to make it look nice, but it also crops this image and makes it small. So it's only a couple of hundred of kilobytes. Now, why would they do this? They do this because A, they make pictures look nicer, but also to save themselves a bit of money. If they uploaded all the pictures that they have from all their users, and each picture was a couple of megabytes, that's a lot of storage space for them to have to hold on to these pictures, because each of these pictures are on their servers. So they save a lot of money by compressing these images. The same thing happens on Udemy as well. You may have watched a course on something like Udemy and thought, man, these videos are a little bit blurry. I wish they were a little clearer. Well, Udemy does the same thing. They host all of these videos. And if they hosted the original version of the videos, such as the ones that I record, in the full format, well, that's going to cost them a lot of money. So they're able to save money by compressing these videos so that they're smaller versions, but also help out other students that maybe might watch these videos, then don't have a good internet connection to watch them in HD. So this is a very common problem. So we're going to learn all about that. Now, what are we going to use? The key thing is that internet is your friend. As a Python developer, you should be able to find these libraries by just doing a simple Google search, such as image processing Python. And we see over here a bunch of resources, like 10 Python image manipulation tools, or things like OpenCV, which we'll talk about. But I'll save you the hassle and tell you what we're going to use. We're going to use something called Pillow, which is a pretty standard library to use with Python when manipulating images. What we're going to do is actually install this Pillow library. And there's a couple of warnings here that we're going to get to in the next video. But ideally, all you're going to do is, well, you can just pip install Pillow. So let's do that. I have a folder here and a project that we're going to be working on, so ignore the right side here. But in here, all I'm going to do is say pip, and I want to make sure I'm using pip 3. Again, this is something we've talked about. It's up to you. Make sure that we're using the latest version of pip. And then say install Pillow.
Okay, let's do that first. Just like that. Oh, looks like Pillow is already on the distribute this packages. Maybe they just move it to be part of Python already. Maybe I don't really need to install it anymore.
And in my case, it's already installed. For you, it may take a little bit longer to install this.
Yeah, it's just I got the
in
same
the next video,
thing.
I'm going to talk a little bit about this warning, which actually leads us to a key developer fundamental. So I'll see you now.
Okay.
Have a look at what we just installed in the previous video. We installed this library called Pillow, which allows us to manipulate images using Python. But I also mentioned that there's a couple of warnings.
Wait a minute. I'm losing video all the time. What's going on? Yeah, well, I don't know what's going on, but I'm losing video on my main monitor.
Thanks here. It says, hey, Pillow and Pill cannot coexist in the same environment. Before installing Pillow, please uninstall Pill. We also have some version warnings as well. So what does this mean? Well, if I go back to the main page over here, we see that Pillow is the friendly pill fork by this person, and Pill is the Python image library. What does this all mean? When you pick a library that you want to use, and trust me, you're going to do a lot of that in your career, you want to make sure that you pick either the latest, most modern library, but also the library that the most people use. And we've mentioned this before when using PyPy, right? We want to make sure that the library we use has a lot of community support, it's constantly being updated so that there's no security issues, or it's not a library that's not very well, because anybody can publish a library. When you look at Python image library, which is the original one that we used to have, and this is a Wikipedia article that I can link to, and again, this is something that you'll just have to learn to develop, the skill of finding the right library. So in here, we actually see that Python image library, so originally it was called Pill, and this library existed and was very popular. But when Python 3 came out, Pill didn't support this newer version of Python. So essentially what happened was it was forked, and forked simply means it was essentially copied because it was an open source library and developed into Pillow by another developer, which gives us Python 3 support. So that's what it means. It's a pill fork that allows us to have Python 3 support. The key here being that, again, we want to make sure that we use libraries that are up to date, that work with Python 3, but also libraries like Pillow here that have a lot of community support. If I go to GitHub here, we see that it has 6,400 stars. It's been forked 1,200 times, and it's also used by 150,000 developers. That's a pretty good sign. We also see that the latest commit happened this year, which is awesome. Again, developing that skill to pick the right library is a sign of an experience.
2017.
So another development.
Oh my God.
Let's get back to building some projects in the next video.
It's an old course. It's 5 years old already. Half a decade.
All right, enough talk. Let's process some images and use our Python knowledge. Now, you might be thinking that image processing is something that you can do on your machine using something like Photoshop, even using a simple editing software. But where this tool really shines is when we have to process hundreds, thousands of images. You can do things really, really fast with Python. So let's get started with this. I've actually attached to this lesson a Pokédex for you. And this Pokédex has all these cute little Pokemons. We have Bulbasaur, we have Charmander, we have Pikachu, we have Squirtle. It's great. They're all extremely cute. And by the way, a little bonus just for taking this course. No other course is going to teach you this. Get ready for it. You ready? Bulbasaur, original name in Japanese, is Fushigidane. Charmander, well, Charmander is Hitokage. And then Pikachu, well, Pikachu is just Pikachu. And then Squirtle is Zenigame. There you go. Free Japanese lesson bonus for this Python course.
Okay.
Yes, this is that good of a course. All right, let's get back to some serious stuff. We have these images. Let's see what we can do with them. I'm going to have an image.py file, so you can just create this on your own. And I'm using Sublime Text here in my command prompt, but you can use whatever you want. And what I'm about to show you is something that, remember, you can always reference in the official documentation. When learning a library, there's nothing better than the official documentation, right? And we see over here that the first thing we need to do is to actually import the module just like this. So let's go back here and say from pill import image. So now we can do something pretty exciting. The first thing we can do is say image equals image that we've imported and just simply say open. Now in here, we just give it a file path that we want to open. In our case, let's open up Pikachu.jpg. So I'm going to say /, which means current directory. And remember, we're in the image playground directory. And I want to go inside of the Pokédex folder. So I'm going to say Pokédex and say /Pikachu. Make sure I spell Pikachu right here. image.jpg. And let's just print the image here to see what we get. I'm going to save and run this file. So I'm going to say Python 3 and run the image.py file. Images.py file, because that's the name. There you go. We get an object here. You see, it's a pill object. It's a JPEG image plugin, JPEG image file, and it tells me exactly what it is. So we've converted, or opened up this JPEG into an image object that Pillow gives us that we can now manipulate. So what can we do here? Well, first, let's just see the image.format. And this property is going to say, hey, what is image format? Image format is JPEG because, well, it's a JPEG. That's awesome. So we get different properties here. What about size? Can you tell us about the size? Well, yep, the size of the image is 640 by 640.
It's a tuple.
We get some information. What if we do mode here? What does mode do? Let's see. We see that the coloring is in RGB. So that's
but I don't know the attributes, man.
Let's clear the console here. There you go. Now remember, we're able to figure out what kind of functions, methods, properties, and attributes this image has by doing the dir command, right? So if I just move this,
if I don't know anything about,
we get, well, all the things that this image has given to us. And again, this is something that we can check on the documentation websites as well.
Okay.
Let's do something even more exciting.
Transform.
I want to be able to maybe add some filters, maybe blur things in here. Well, Pillow gives us this image filter. Filter the image with. So how can we use it? Well, we can now have a filtered image, and this filter image is going to equal the image that we've grabbed, and we're going to say dot filter, and in here, give it the image filter with some options. So here we can do different things. Let's do blur here. So capital blur. So now it's going to apply a filter of blurring. So let's see what happens if I do this. I'm going to, instead of printing, I'm actually going to say
image dot save.
And this is going to save the filtered image. So let's do filtered image dot save. And to give it, let's call it blur, comma, and then the extension that we want to save in it. Let's just do PNG here. Change it to a PNG file, like this. And if I run this, look at that. We have a new file, blur.png here. If I click on it, Pikachu is all blurred up. You can see the original image right here. Then how cool is that? So let's do that again. Let's do something else. Let's do maybe
blur
smooth,
with
which is another filter that we can do. If I run this again.
But how blur can I make it?
Now, well, I can't really tell, but it's smooth. That's a filter that usually works better with landscape images. We can also do something like Sharpen. And again, you can read the documentation to see different filterings that we can do. But let's check this one. We got the original and then the sharpened one. There you go. There's a bit of a notice. Pikachu is looking very, very sharp. Now, the reason that I've converted this into a PNG is because PNG supports these image filters. So you might get an error if you actually keep it as a JPEG. And you know what? While we're at it, let me show you another thing that we can do. So instead of this filter image, we can actually do something called convert. And this converts the image to different formats. So one of the formats that we can actually do is something called Grayscale, which is with a capital L. So when I do convert like this image, and let's rename it to gray.png. If I run this, my gray.png, Pikachu is in black and white. So you can also convert images to different formats. So remember we had the RGB, red, green, blue format. There's different formats that you can convert images to, but this one looks pretty cool. We've just grayed out Pikachu. Now, this is just one picture that we've worked with. But the power, and what I'm going to show you in the upcoming videos, is how we can apply, let's say, a function like this to hundreds and thousands and millions of images if we want, and process them really fast. But for now, I think this is enough. You can experiment and try different converts and try different image filters on your own, and we're going to learn some more in the next video. Bye-bye. We have a new file that we want to save in it. Let's just do PNG here.
Let's try that one.
Change it to a PNG file.
I want to try that one. I'm going to need to create a new branch. It's going to be images with Python. Okay, let's call you like that. Images with Python. That's going to be my new one. I'm going to require here. Let's get the name of the chapter from here. Yeah. Let's delete the semicolon. And I'm going to need pictures. I know exactly where to get them. Okay, let's see. There we go. This is an artist. She's a YouTuber and an artist. I believe she's actually working on, what's the name? What's the other one? This is one. But she has another one. Nail art. There we go. On this account, she's actually working on making Pokemons. So she's actually drawing the Pokédex. So this is perfect for me. There we go. She's trying to make one a day, but I believe it's going to really burn her out quickly. So let's see if I can find the very first one. I don't think so. Well, let's try with this one anyway. Let's go to get Python. And you're the coughing, okay. I get it, because he's coughing, or he makes you cough. It's a JPEG, actually. Whoa, what? I didn't copy that? JPEG. There we go. Okay. We got a picture here. And I might like to create 1701 bill. Bill example.py. And let's make the code a little bigger. So, okay. So let's see the code. From Pill, I wonder why he's not using the pillow library. He's using the actual original Pill library from Python. So he's not using the fork, but he installed it. So I don't know. From Pill, import image and image filter. Okay. Capitalization is important, I guess. Image filter too. And she's creating a variable called EMG. And I'm going to instantiate something from the image class using open method. Okay. Image dot open. I need to pass the name of the file. Okay. Is that enough? No. I actually need to add current directory and this, because I am on Linux. I probably should use the path object here in order to make sure that this is going to work either on Windows or on Unix systems, but it's going to be okay. What else do I need? Filtered image, and this is the one variable that's going to apply the filters. Okay. Okay, filtered image. You're going to be equal to the EMG object with the filter method and then the filter. Okay. Filter method, and it's going to ask me the filter for a filter. And I'm getting from the image filter class the blur attribute. Okay. It's even here, blur directly. There we go. Okay, so I apply a filter here and I created another object. So filtered image dot save. Okay. Filtered image dot save. How do I want it to be saved? I'm going to need file path maybe. FP must mean file path, readable, format, str, and none, and many. Okay, so a file name. Safety image under the given file name. If no format specified, the format to use is determined from the file name extension is possible. Keyword options can be used. Okay, fine. So he's using blur PNG and the PNG format. There we go. And that should be it. Okay, so let's try to run this. Cd get Python section 17. And now here I'm going to try to run with Python 3, the only file that is right here. And let's see, there we go. We have a blur PNG. I may like to open that. It's actually blurred. I see a blur. Maybe if I open the other one. Wait, did it create another instance? Oh, there we go. So side to side, I can see the blur version and the unblurred version. Probably if I do a comparison like this, no, that's not going to work. But side to side, I can see that it's actually blurred. Yeah, it looks blurred. Yeah, it looks blurred actually. It's a little bit blurred. Yeah, I guess it works. I wonder how. So the PNG, obviously, because the format is higher, then it has higher density of data. The PNG file is a little bit bigger, but they seem to be pretty much the same. So I don't see an issue here. Okay.
Like this. And if I run this, look at that. We have a new file, blur.png here. If I click on it, Pikachu is all blurred up. You can see the original image right here, and the blurred image. How cool is that? So let's do that again. Let's do something else. Let's do maybe smooth, which is another filter that we can do. If I run this again, right, we see that the image is now, well, you can't really tell, but it's smoother. That's a filter that usually works better with landscape images. We can also do something like Sharpen, and again, you can read the documentation to see different filterings that we can do. But let's check this one out as well. We got the original, and then the sharpened one. There you go, there's a bit of a notice.
Okay.
Pikachu is looking very
So
good.
the idea is to do this
into a PNG is because PNG supports these image filters, so you might get an error if you actually keep it as a JPEG.
Okay.
And you know what? While we're at it, let me show you another thing that we can do. So instead of this filter image, we can actually do something called convert. And this converts the image to different formats. So one of the formats that we can actually do is something called Grayscale, which is with a capital L. So when I do convert like this image, and let's rename it to gray.png. If I run this, my gray.png, Pikachu is in black and white. So you can also convert images to different formats. So remember we had the RGB, red, green, blue format. There's different formats that you can convert images to, but this one looks pretty cool. We've just grayed out Pikachu. Now this is just one picture that we work with, but the power, and what I'm going to show you in the upcoming videos is how we can apply, let's say, a function like this.
Actually, I may like to have that one too. So Png convert L. Okay, let's copy this one. Actually, let's copy both. Blur filter and degrade it out. But here he's using Png convert. Convert And he's using a parameter called L, a character L. And save it as another thing. I wonder if I'm going to get an error here. I don't think so. And look at this, it's graded out now. So I see the value on this. Okay, I'm going to use this time to go to the restroom because my my break is coming in. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And I am back. So we had some time. I'm going to take a little break here because, well, my Nintendo Switch is being occupied by my nephew. He's playing Mario Odyssey right now. He's in love with that game, so I'm going to let it have it. I wonder if I can, in the next chapters, or maybe on this chapter, I can use a script to navigate through Twitter, get these pictures, save them in a folder, and basically build a Pokédex out of them. That would be great. That's it? That was weird. Wait, I cannot go back that much. Okay, there we go. I wonder if I can go to the end. I don't have end on this keyboard. But I should have next page. No. Okay, that's a Gengar. As you can see, there are a lot of beautiful images for the Pokédex, basically. So the work for drawing this is been great. I wonder if she's going to make it to the end because this is a titanic task to basically draw every single Pokemon out there. And she's going from generation 1. And her intention is to draw every single version of Pokemon. For example, here, this Diglett, this is the one on the left is generation 1. The one on the right is another generation. I don't know which one. Well, so that's a lot of work to do. But she's actually building the Pokédex already. I might like to use these pictures. Oh wait, Pikachu's here. There we go. Let's save it as Pikachu. And what's the difference here? Oh, the tail. Because this is the male and this is the Pikachu female. Yeah, don't ask me how I know that. There we go. This is Ekans? No, Arbok. Okay. Ekans. Okay. Oh, I didn't remember this one. Sparrow. Yeah. This is a normal Pokemon, flying Pokemon, I think. Oh, the Rattata or Ratatouille or something like that? No. Oh, okay. Cute, commission open, Pokédex, day 20. This is Rotata. Well, she's doing all Pokemon. I'm going back to the first ones. There we go. So the adventure begins here, basically. Let's say this one. This is Bulbasaur. This is Charmander. And Squirtle. And as he mentioned, these have different names. Oh, so she began January 1st, 2022, so this year. Okay, well, I have enough. So, well, my break is going to be over anyway.
To hundreds and thousands and millions of images if you want and process them really fast. But for now, I think this is enough. You can experiment and try different converts and try different image filters on your own. And we're going to learn some more in the next video. Bye-bye.
There we go.
Let's learn a few more neat things that we can do with images. Now, here we learned that we're able to save images, we can convert them, we can add image filters to them, and we also learned that we can actually use the save method to give a new name to a file, and then also give it an extension with a second parameter. So we can convert from, let's say, a JPEG to a PNG file like this. Another neat thing that we can do is also actually do something called show. And this is just going to show us the image. Let me show you. Get that pun? Let me show you. All right, there you go. We see that it's now opening up the file and showing me the grayed out black and white 1920s Pikachu. Awesome.
Okay, let me see. With image show. Let's try that one. I wonder if how does Python show that into its own window or is opening a pre-install application here. I don't know. Okay. Whoa. Yeah. I'm reluctant to add all those to the repo, but I'm going to add them anyway. Priority 10. Yeah, I don't really like to include something that is not a source code file, but I guess it's okay in this case. Let me see. So here, show image. And let's go back. Filtered image show. So it's going to show the last one. Okay, so it's using the default application to open pictures. Okay.
We can also rotate our images. So I can say filter image. And this image, I want to rotate. Let's say 90 degrees. And I'm actually going to move this above the save so that we can see the effects. So I run this and go to gray.png. And let's just assign this to a crooked variable. And this crooked variable, which stores the new image, is where we're going to save. So let's just, let's save that and run this. And if we now go to gray.png, look at that, we got a crooked Pikachu. And we can...
Okay, let's try that one too. Because I'm going to basically forget that I can do that, I guess. Rotate to 90 degrees. That's the graded out. The rotate. I'm going to use the show at the end always so I can see what I'm doing here. So here, image rotate. There we go. And the parameter, I guess, is the amount of degrees. 90. And I may like to use another one. The coffin is good and all, but I may like to use the Pikachu or something. Yeah, this Pikachu. Okay. Let's change to a Pikachu. There we go. So it's going to create those pictures with Pikachu. So right now, and yet well, these are my sources. Coughing. Okay, I may like to use a new folder, EMG, and put everything there. Well, not everything. Basically, I'm going to put all of this. Anything that is not the source, maybe down here. I may like to say the sources or the raw pictures and the process images. So I'm not going to bloat this thing here. So Squirtle, Pikachu, Coughing, Charmander, Bulbasaur. So this, I want to move them into raw because these are the original pictures. Okay. And blur and grayed out and everything else, you're going to be processed. There we go. So that's going to clean my folder a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to let's add everything but the source code. There we go. And you, yeah, I'm adding rotate, but I don't think I'm finished yet. Yeah, I'm not finished. So here, EMG, you are going to be in G raw, and that's where Pikachu is going to be. And all of this, you are going to be on ENG process. So everything is going to be there. And rotate. There we go. Okay, let's run this one. And there we go. We have a rotated Pikachu. Seems to be working.
Again, do different things. Let's do 180. So we have upside down Pikachu. And there we go. We have upside down Pikachu. So that's great. We can rotate images. We can also resize the images. So let's just say resize here. And it's going to be called resize. And instead of rotate, what we'll say is resize. And we can say that this image, remember, it was 640 by 640. I'm going to resize it to 300 by 300. So a nice little thumbnail. If I run this, and you see that I get an error here. And what I actually should have done here is the resize accepts a tuple. So I have to
a tuple.
brackets
around.
Okay. So if I run this again.
Okay. I'm going to try that one. Okay, like here. Rotate. And the last one is going to be resize. And as a parameter, I'm going to need a tuple with the new size. Wait. Oh, wait, this is the save. No, it's not here. It's here. Image. Okay. It's going to be rotated already. It's going to look a little weird. Anyway. Image rotate. You're going to be resize. And I'm going to need a topple. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's try 300. Because I don't know what size are those pictures. Let's see. Let's see, Pikachu. You are 800 by 800. Oh, mouse died. Okay, let's see 300 then. It's going to be smaller. 300 by 300. And it's going to save it and store it. I probably would like to open this again, because and I'm reusing this. I don't really like that. So blur. Let's modify these names to blur. So I'm not mixing all these effects all together. You're going to be gray. You're going to be rotate. And you're going to be resize. There we go. So I'm having different, I'm getting different results from the same raw image, and I'm not going to be mixing up everything together. In this case, in the end, I may like to do this. There we go. Resize. There we go. So I'm going to get different images, and I'm not going to be mixing up everything together. Okay, let's try. And there we go. That's a 300 by 300 Pikachu. And this is the other one. So here we are side by side. So 300 by 300, and the other one is 800 by 800. Wait, what? What happened? Well, anyway, let's try again. Here we go. Okay, so this is great because I do sometimes do simple image processing, like resizing a picture, cutting up, cropping pictures, and being able to do this in a mass scale using Python is great. That's a great thing to have, especially because now that I think about it, if I want to data mine Twitter and get all of the Pokemons, where are they? If I want to get all of these Pokemon, I may actually, rather than do this manually, picture by picture, I may actually, you know what? I'm going to give you this user, and from this date onward, I want all the pictures that this user is putting in on her timeline, basically. And I can data mine all of these Pokemon and get my material, my picture for my own Pokédex.
Let me clear and run this again. And we go to gray.png. Look at that. Pikachu is a lot smaller than he used to be. Pikachu is tiny now. So we got tiny, grayed out Pikachu. So that's great. I can resize images, which is really useful. Now, let's say I wanted to crop my Pikachu image. What can we do? Well, instead of me telling you, let's just find out. We can go to the documentation website and simply search for crop. And if we keep scrolling down, well, let's just do .crop to see if there's an actual function that we have. And let's go over here, and we see that we have a crop over here. So cutting, pasting, and merging images. Okay, so let me just zoom in so you can see it a little bit. We see exactly how it can work. Just pick the pixel location of 4 corners and crop an image. So let's just copy that.
That's interesting.
And try it out. So we have the region. So let's just say region, or let's just remove this and crop the filtered image with the box like this. And if we save this region image and run our code.
Okay. Let's try that. Okay. Oh, mouse died. There we go. What? My mouse is acting funny today. Okay, you're going to be cropped. I guess that files are being probably these ones here. Blur, graded out. It's not repeating the process because grade should be Pikachu and blur should be Pikachu. So I guess that if I delete those and run the program as is, well, excluding this, obviously, this is the new code. You want to exclude this. So let's try to see it live. There we go. It's rewriting everything. There we go. Okay, so rotate. This is rotate, resize, grade, and blur. Okay. So it's not overwriting. So I guess that's going to be an issue, a bug. Anyway, so let's see. Box. I need to create a box variable, and it's a tuple with 4 values representing the coordinate for 2 points, and I guess everything between those 2 points is going to be cropped. So let's try that. Filtered image, convert L. That's going to gray it out. Let's create the box. It's a tuple, so it's going to be 100 and 100. And what's the other value? 400 by 400. In my case will be, well, 400 is okay. There we go. So that's the first part. Then I need a region variable, and that's the thing that's going to use the tuple. Filter image crop. Okay. Oh wait, it's going to be this comes after between this. There we go. Now crop image dot region or crop is crop. And I'm going to use the box. There we go. And now I'm not going to save the crop image object. I'm going to save the region. I'm going to save it. There we go. Region.save and the name. Region.save and the name. There we go. Okay, let's run that. I think that the last, yeah, it's not good enough. This should be crop image. Actually, should be region. Yeah, it's region. Oh wait, and crop image is a resize. That's not good. Can I make it just like this? EMG. Yeah. So this is no longer needed actually. There we go. There we go. So that's the cropped version. Okay, I need to go to the restroom. Be right back in a while. Oh, well. I'm about to take a break anyway. Let me see. I try that one. Oh, there is another podcast. Oh, wait. Mi hoyo expande el hoyo verso. What the fuck, el hoyo verso? Hoyo verso. Mi hoyo. Mi hoyo. Mi hoyo.
Te juro que estamos al aire.
El hoyo verso, güey.
¿En serio?
Oye, esa mamada.
No te creo nada.
Oh, ¿es en vivo esto? No.
No te creo nada.
¿Por qué no?
Porque hasta que no lo vean no es verdad. A ver. Ya, no escucho. Te creo.
Ya. Menos mal.
Ok. A ver ahí. No voy a poder ver el teclado, pero creo que se debe escuchar mejor el micrófono.
Presentador.
Oye, pero
Y ahora el presentador es que...
ya pasó. ¿Esto de qué día fue? A ver. ...15 de mayo. No, ya lo vi. Este ya es viejo. Lo acaba de retuitear. Killer. Ok. Healthy Gamer.
Or what changed between 16 and 17 and 18 and 19. And so that's how you could sort of find where that process is. We go into this in a bunch of detail in Dr. K's guide if you look at the Vedic psychology portion, because this is like a skill that you can learn in terms of finding the root of your kind of like cognitive biases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ah, eso tiene su cuarto bien chido. Debería transmitir. Should I stream on Twitch or remain on YouTube? I don't know.
Boy who's saying, if my issue is when I create goals, I feel like they aren't genuine, like writing on paper what I want to accomplish, really hard to believe myself. 100%. Right? So that's because your goals are being created from your intellect, as opposed to like, they're like things that you should do. Right? So this is a challenge. Where if we look at like, what's the problem with like how we generate goals? So when I generate goals, like let's just think for a second about where do those goals come from? I sit down for a second, like I grab a piece of paper and I start listing all the things I should do. Well, just think about this for a second. How important is a should for generating motivation? How motivated are you to do the things that you should do? By nature, the fact that it's something you should do, you're not intrinsically motivated at all. So if you want to generate goals, what I'd recommend is instead of writing down all the stuff you should be doing, instead ask yourself, what do you care about? What do you actually value in this life? Not what you should do, what do you care to do? And this is where you've got to be kind of careful, because you may fall into a pitfall. Well, what I care to do is play video games all day. I don't think so. I don't think you wake up today and you say to yourself, well, for the next 5 years, I'd love nothing more than sit in my room and play video games for 16 hours a day. Like, I don't think that you actually care about that. I think that's what we do as a default when we're looking at a list of all the stuff we should be doing. It feels overwhelming and we don't know what to do, so we might as well play a video game. That's how you end up playing video games for 16 hours a day for 5 years. It's not because you wake up and you're like, man, I really love this. Or if you do, usually as a pro gamer.
No, that's the only thing.
An esports athlete, like that happens, and usually that's where those people end up.
So I'd start by really digging into like what you care about. And this is where like, so part of what we try to help what we teach our coaches is if you're trying to work with someone who struggles with motivation, what you need to do is move from the should to the care. Like, what do you care about? What do you value? Because that's what creates motivation. Thoughts on the general impact of high celibacy rates in young adults today? Are celibacy rates high? I'm kind of curious about this. So here's my first thought, is that you've got to be careful.
I wonder if he's going to remain there, but doesn't matter, I guess.
Let's go to Pikachu, and look at that, just the face of Pikachu. He's so cute. Right. Let's pretend that I didn't make that voice. Let's keep going. So there we have it. We can even crop images. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff, but you see the power of image processing. Whatever you want to do, you're not going to know at the top of your head. Instead, you're going to go to the documentation and say, hey, I want to have a blurry grayed out image. How can I do that? Well, you just search the documentation page and learn the commands, and you write your file. And that's the key, right? You're not going to know at the top of your head the library.
No.
When the need arises, you just read the documentation. That's what good developers do. All right, we've learned a lot, but we still have a few more things to learn. Let's take a break, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Let's take a break and see you in the next one. Okay.
Welcome back. I have a new problem for you. I'm using a website here called unsplash.com. It's an awesome website where you can actually download for free really good images. Maybe you want to have a new background for your website, maybe a new background for your desktop. Anyway, I found this Spaceman image, and I've downloaded it, and I'll link to this image as well. Or you can pick whatever image you want from unsplash.com. And you'll see here that this image is 3.8 megabytes.
It's quite big.
Maybe I want to bring it down in size. Maybe do a 400 by 400 thumbnail that I can use for my profile picture so people know that I'm an astronaut. How can we do that? Well, let's go back to our code. We have this astro.jpg image, and you can see over here, I'm scrolling through it. It's absolutely massive.
Whoa, it's massive.
So let's make this smaller. I'm going to, instead of Pokédex, say I want to grab the astro.jpg image. And we don't want to do any of this, so I'm going to remove that. And first of all, let's just print what the image size is, just so we're clear. So I'm going to run this, and we see that, yep, it's a pretty big image. So all I'm going to do is say new image is going to be image.resize. And again, a tuple that says 400 by 400. And we've seen this before, right?
Yeah.
So now if I save this, let's say new image.save, and I'll call it thumbnail.jpg. If I save this and run this, all right, look at that. We have a thumbnail.jpg. That's actually great. Look at that. It's tiny compared to the massive one we had. But one thing that I don't know if you can notice is that because the image did not have the same width and height, it is actually a little bit compressed. So it lost its aspect ratio. The image looks kind of squished in. So how can we fix that? And this is a common problem with images, right? If we make things smaller and smaller, or we change the aspect ratio, let's say 400 by 200. So if I save this and go to the image, well, look, the image is all squished up. How can we fix it? Well, in this case, we can actually use a useful thumbnail method. So instead of saying resize, if you want to keep the aspect ratio, we can say thumbnail.
Oh, nice.
Thumbnail will be 400 by 200. So if I save and run this again, we'll get an error. A non-type object has no attribute save. And that is because thumbnail actually doesn't return a new image. It just modifies the current one. So in here, we can just say image.thumbnail, and then we'll say image.save. So if I run this, and we go back to thumbnail, look at that. We have a thumbnail, but it keeps the aspect ratio. So even though I said 400 by 200, it's going to try and do its best to keep that aspect ratio and maybe not give the exact output that I want. So let's just bring it back to 400 by 400, run it again, and there you go. We have our thumbnail, and the astronaut is not squished. Very, very useful. So the thumbnail one is really, really useful. Maybe if you want to create a profile picture for Facebook or...
Yeah, I'm going to say that one. Let's make it... that's for my region. Okay. So here, and it's going to return something. Okay. Thumbnail emg going to be equals to is opening the thumbnail emg thumbnail. Okay. And now thumbnail image dot thumbnail, and it's just a method, and I'm going to put a tuple with the size. Okay, let's try out 200 by 200, just because I don't want to download a new one. I just call that and thumbnail image dot save, and I need a name to be saved. There we go. Let's copy this, and there we go. And let's show the image in the end. Let's run this. And there we go. We have a thumbnail 200 by 200. It's a very useful thing to have to create thumbnails. There we go. Yeah, I wonder if I can actually create a thumbnail from his face. I do have a crop, but this is not going to work for me. Let's see. This is thumbnail. Okay. Okay, let's go back to raw. Can I figure out coordinates here? I wonder. Status bar? Can I see my coordinates here? No. Show. No. The status bar is not showing my coordinates. Anyway. So I wonder, let's try 400 by 400. No, that's going to be just here, around the middle. So maybe 300 by 300. Well, it's too much. I may like to have some help here with the, I may like to see the coordinates that my cursor is playing around. I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. The thing is that it's working as intended, okay.
Instagram or any other social media platform that you might have. And it just gives a tuple of width and height, and this is the maximum value. So it's never going to go over 400 and 400, but thumbnail is going to automatically do anything within the range up to 400, but keeping the aspect ratio. So if I actually do here print image.size, and I run this, you'll see that that's exactly what happens. It's intelligently deciding what the best size for the image is. All right, let's take a break, and in the next video, we're going to do a fun little exercise. I'll see you in that one. Bye-bye.
That's JPG to PNG converter.
Welcome back. It's time to apply what we just learned and do an exercise and build our own project. Now, what is this project? This project is going to be a JPEG to PNG converter. You remember our Pokédex, right? Our Pokédex are all these cute little Pokemons, but they're all in JPEG format. Now, JPEG image file format, you can read up on it, but I prefer PNG. There's some benefits that PNG files have, especially for these type of images. So for example, if you're a web developer, these types of images with not a lot of color or just a few colors, you can see over here, blue, brown, white, they're actually better when you develop websites to use PNG. Again, that's beyond the scope of the course. You can read up on this on your own. But a JPEG to PNG converter is really, really useful. So how can we build it based on what we've learned? I'm going to get you started, and the rest I'm going to try and see if you can figure out on your own.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do first is create a new file in here. And I'm going to use the command line. I can use touch here because I'm using a Mac. If you're using Windows, this command is different. And that's something that we've already talked about before. You can also just manually on your computer just say new file. So you can just right click and say new file, whatever you want. Well, I already did this, so instead of doing touch, I'll just create a new file. And what we'll call it is, I'm going to call it JPEG to PNG .py. There we go. Now, what do we want this to do? Well, we want a Python script that I can run that works like this. I want to be able to say Python 3 and then say JPEG to PNG converter.py and then give it 2 arguments. The first argument is I want it to give the folder name. So I'm going to say Pokédex. And we're going to add a slash here to show that this is a folder. So I want you to open the Pokédex folder. And then the second parameter is the new folder that I want to create. So let's just call it new. So this new folder doesn't exist, but I want to be able to create it. And by the way, if you're on a Windows, this slash will be the other one. It'll be the backslash like this. But essentially what I want to do is run this command. It's going to look through all the images here and convert them into a JPEG and put them in a new folder called new. So let's build that script. And I'm going to get you started with a little hint. What we need to do is we need to be able to grab these arguments.
Those arguments.
And also grab all these files. And from the previous sections, we should know how to do that. What I'm going to do is import the sys module and import the os module. And of course, from the pillow library, I'm going to import pill from image. It's import here. There you go. Now, the first step is to actually, using the sys module, grab the first and second argument. So remember, that's the Pokédex and the new folder. So that's the first thing we want to do. The second thing is to, well, based on whether this exists or not, to check if new exists, or this folder exists, and if not, create it.
Okay.
Right? So if this doesn't exist, we have to create the folder so we can put the images in. And then finally, what we want to do here, and this is the tough part, we want to loop through this entire folder. So loop through Pokédex, and then we want to convert images to PNG.
And store them.
And then finally, we want to save them to the new folder.
Okay.
This is a tough one. It combines a lot of the things that we've learned up until now. You might not get it right away because it is a little tricky. So don't worry. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to solve this problem. But what you might want to learn is how to Google, first of all, how to use sys to grab the first and second argument. How to use the OS module to grab the path so that you can say, hey, I want these files in Pokédex and I want to write.
There we go. You can use OS or the pathlib module here. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the pathlib because that's going to make the script run on Windows systems and on Unix-based file systems.
To this new file. So we're going to use the OS module for that. And then obviously we're going to use the pillow module to convert the images to PNG, something that we've seen before. This exercise is going to require a bit of Googling on your case, which is a good skill to develop. So don't worry, in the next video, I'm going to show you how to, do this. I'll see you in that one. Good luck. Don't worry, in the next video, I'm going to...
Okay, so that's my base file. So let's... Well, I guess let's add everything but the actual source code. Modify images. And this is going to be relatives pet. And what are the differences? Okay. There we go. Yeah, these are exercise files, so I'm not really that concerned. I wonder if there is an issue if I'm storing pictures there. I have not. Okay. So I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to do it with the graphic user interface. It's going to be 1702. And you are called JPEG to PNG converter. Oh, it's already saved as the file name. There we go. Oh, wait. If I'm going to be using this somewhere else, it's going to be an issue, but I don't think so. Anyway, who cares? Okay, so let's copy the base. Import syst. I'm going to use pathlib instead of OS. And from pil, import image. So far, so good. And now I need to grab first and second argument. That's the first. Then I need to check is new. Is sys is not create. Okay. Is second argument exists as well, open it, not really. If not, create it. Loop through Pokédex, convert images to PNG. Okay. I wonder if I wrote that okay. You start right through Pokédex. guess it's going to be EMG raw. That's the first thing. And convert images to PNG. And save to the new folder. Yeah, okay. Okay, so the first thing will be to grab, using the sys library, how to grab the first and second argument. Okay. So first argument is going to be equals to sys. I don't remember. I think he used indexes. I believe it's going to be 1. And 2. I wonder if that runs. No. Yeah, I believe maybe there is an attribute or a arc. There we go. Arc B. There we go. I think that's valid. That's legal. There we go. So I'm getting, with this, I'm getting the first argument and the second argument. I might like to print them out. And I wonder, I guess this could be a prompt to errors if the arguments are not passed in. But anyway, let's try it out. Wait, it went straight to that one. Why? It's not here. I already saved it. Oh, it's outside the folder. Never mind. There we go. Okay, and there is an error because I didn't pass any arguments out of range. So the first is going to be image raw, image process. There we go. So now I'm able to print out the first argument, which is this one here. This is the source for the pictures, and the second argument is going to be the destiny, or the on this process folder. I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be storing everything, but I guess I should try to catch those errors. So perhaps if I'm not able to, I wonder if I'm going to print something here before. Okay, let's try again without the second argument. There we go. Second argument, index error, leaves index out of range. Okay. I'm going to catch this error here. So I'm going to put that on a try. Except index error as error. You want to print, I don't know, usage, or just print out image source. and the destiny. Source directory. And actually, this could be better described like this. Image source directory and image destiny directory. Well, so I'm trying to be more specific here and just try to help myself. And exit with a 1 maybe, because that's an error, I think. Okay, so let's validate that one again. You need to pass 2 arguments, EMG source directory and EMG destiny directory. Okay, so it's fine. EMG process, and there we go. Okay, I added some validation there. I no longer need this. I already know I'm going to get the 2 arguments. Okay, the first step is okay, it's done. Second step, if second argument exists as a directory is not created, okay, I'm going to ask for the second argument. If how do I ask that? This is where pathlib is going to be working for me. Okay, let's open the pathlib documentation. There we go. So we're getting pathlib, pure path. Okay. So I kinda remember this. You never used this before. Path is most likely what I need. Okay, so I'm going to use path. So let's create a new variable. Actually, maybe down here. I may like to try it down here. Well, I already received the first and the second argument already. So let's create destiny path maybe. It's going to be equals to, and I'm going to create a new path. Path live. Oh wait. How do I import it? Padlet path. Okay. Actually, I should import it like this, maybe. From pathlib, import path. There we go. And now let's see how it's being used. Okay, I'm going to create a new path with this. Okay. I don't need this anymore. I do need this one here. And the parameter is not going to be this current directory. It's going to be the second agreement. That should be it. Okay. I'm getting this. I wonder if I can print that destiny path. Okay. Python 3 EMG process. It actually prints the destiny correctly. So I wonder if I might. This will be prompted to unit testing maybe, because this might throw out some errors here. I wonder. Okay. Okay, I used that correctly, I guess. And now, how do I use it after this? X for XEMP iter there. Oh, interesting. Listing subdirectories, okay. Listing Python source files in this directory tree. Huh. It's going to create a list of this glob. Okay. Okay, I guess. Pad etc. Okay, another break.
Like they exist within, it's like literally, like, you know, there are neurons that you have in your brain that have memories of what they said. There are going to be objects and words that they spoke, and people that they helped and people that they hurt. And all of those things, like a burst of karmas, like continue to move forward in life. And so if you think a little bit about the process of grief, it's kind of acknowledging that person is gone. But all these thousand
This is about me, actually.
taken still live within me. Like their impact still live within me. The good and the bad. And so then the process of grieving is integrating that once again. It's acknowledging, okay, this person is gone. But they sowed all these karmic seeds which still bear fruit. And kind of acknowledging that. And that, like, these are karmas that are left. Maybe they left me money. Maybe they didn't leave me money, and that leaves me resentful. They said certain things to inspire me. They said certain things to hurt my feelings. They said certain things to emotionally scar me, right? They were not a very good parent, and they struggled with addictions themselves. And so I'm going to have to, like, let go that there's ever going to be, like, a parent in my life who was, like, you know, perfect and universally supportive or even decent. And as you work through that, as you sort of recognize that they're gone, but their karmic seeds remain in this world, you can sort of work through that, integrate whatever you want to, heal whatever you want to, and kind of like move forward. But that's also consistent with this sort of idea that integration of trauma and mourning into the self is how people heal. And we sort of have science behind that. Does that make sense? So in short, you know, how do you balance forgetting and never letting go and never forgetting someone? By integrating them into yourselves. And when your mind is stuck and ruminating in the past, that's when you're stuck in grief. When you take what that person did in their life and make it a part of you and change you because of them, then you integrate it into yourself, and then you can move forward, and then you've, like, grieved in a healthy way. ZXP Ping, thank you so much for this. You're very welcome. A lot of first-time chatters today. So Krusty O is asking, so Dr. K, why would you want to create karmas? That's a great question. So the answer is you don't. So this also is a little bit more from the Hindu tradition, or leans more towards the Hindu tradition, but the Buddhists may also agree. You know, and the traditions are not monolithic, right? So Hinduism, just like Christianity, and Buddhism, just like Christianity or Islam, has, like, all these different sects with, like, slightly different beliefs, okay? So I'm oversimplifying here. But the short answer is that the whole point of meditation, and this is, by the way, is, like, not really disputed, okay? This is just forgotten. But everyone who's talking about mindfulness and the benefits of meditation for anxiety, of which we're part of it, right? Because it does help with anxiety, but meditation was never designed to help mindfulness. That's not why people did it. That's not why Buddha taught it. So anyone who's like, oh yeah, you know, like I like Buddhism and stuff, don't ever forget that the reason for meditation is enlightenment. And what enlightenment is, moksha, or liberation.
Okay, I think I'm going to cut the stream for a little bit. I need to take care of something work-related. But I'm going to be back soon. I don't think I'm going to be taking too much time. And I'm going to continue with the course, obviously. And I'm going to continue with this little project here. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, I'm going to be back.